week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience. They've compiled the best elements like cutting-edge ENC tech, the latest in Bluetooth 5.0, 7.1 surround, plus extra features like dual mics and ultra-low latency into their headsets so everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. And they've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, plus they won't break the bank. You can learn more about the headsets that are available and the current promotions that are going on by going to f5live.tv/exa. Now, we were off when the announcement came out about the end of Google Stadia, but we are back, and let's talk about what's going on because the first stage of Google Stadia shutdown has started. If you don't remember Google Stadia, don't worry. That's why it's going away. It is currently, for a couple more months, a game streaming platform similar to Project xCloud from Microsoft, or it's not called Aria. Yeah, GeForce Now, Aura from Amazon, OnLive from a decade ago, before the technology was ready to go. And it is shutting down. It will be shut down, interestingly, on my birthday, January 18th of next year. And unlike other shutdowns in similar businesses that we've seen, Google made an interesting decision to refund the purchases of players. So if you purchased a game, in-app purchases in said games, or hardware from the Google Store, you will get your money back. Now, you might have noticed that I emphasized that on the Google Store. If you bought it at Walmart, Best Buy, or even a Google retail store, out of luck. You will not be getting your hardware purchases back. Those are yours. It is what it is. Oh, in chat, I have a subscription, what's left of it, and 4 controllers. Anyone want to play? Oh, poor thing. So where did you purchase your where your controllers, or where did you purchase your hardware from? From Google or from somewhere else? So it's definitely an interesting move to refund purchases. We know people oftentimes with a service or a game or a platform like this, people get screwed if the shutdown happens in Steon. So you know, it's nice that they've done this. Obviously, it's going to be a huge headache and a massive cost that people have not heard about, right? Or not thought of, because Google still has to pay the developer and or publisher for the purchases that they're returning. So this is going to be a big expense for Google, and a headache, because because they're doing automatic returns. So what if the credit card you purchased it with has expired and been replaced? Or what if it got lost and was replaced? What if you used a prepaid card for it? Where is all this going to go? What if you bought Google credit to buy hardware and software in the Google Store specifically for that? They're going to return it into Google Store credit. You know, there's all kinds of annoyances. Plus, of course, the whole, I trusted you, Google, and I bought the hardware at Walmart, right? Or in this case, Clinton has brought up something interesting. He says one was free initially from Google. The rest I bought off of other people. The people that he bought them off of, if they bought the hardware from the Google Store, are going to get their money back on it.
Good for them. Bad for Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's a fascinating type of situation.
So first of all, I don't want to say Google's being nice here, but they're not legally required to do this, right?
So
I mean, there's been a lot of things where
OnLive
part.
OnLive didn't return nothing to nobody.
I mean, a lot. There's a lot of things where people bought stuff and then it became use a brick, and the
Right.
companies never said, "Sorry, we're going to help you out here."
Right.
Uh, with
We
your brick. I
we
mean,
talked about that kind of thing, when Insteon briefly went away.
yeah. I mean, you got. Didn't you tell me you had a box full of Q cats? Um,
Yeah.
so, although I don't know if anybody actually paid for those, but
No. No, those were given away
those were
free in the
free
store.
usually.
Yeah.
Right. But like, there's a whole
But
bunch of things that are
but the store paid for them. We paid for them. There was a cost to the store
somebody
for each
paid
one.
somebody paid for it, just not the consumer.
Yeah.
But um so I mean, in a sense, you're always taking a gamble
Hmm.
when you buy something that is a cloud service. Now,
Right.
on the other hand, this is Google. It's not some fly by night company.
Yeah.
So, if you were bought something that was dependent, like for example, if you bought a Pebble watch a few years ago, well, Pebble wasn't that big of a company.
Hmm.
Um, they did eventually come out with some firmware, right, that you could sort of use it, um, right? But like that was a small company. You kind of like were taking a risk, but not that you should have had to take a risk, but take I mean, but what are you to say about like Google is a big company
Yeah.
and they gave up on this so quickly? I mean, how long has Stadia been around? A year, 2 years? When did it
2019.
launch? Oh, okay, 3 years. Time flies.
Yeah,
But
I know. In
I
in
mean,
fairness, there was a global pandemic between the startup and the shutdown of this service. So, time got screwed up
right.
for all of us.
But you know what though? At the same time, it actually would have been a great time for this type of service.
True. True.
Um, Theoretically, right? So I mean, the
And
thing is
and
that
while
Google,
and while GeForce did well with theirs, and Microsoft obviously, Project xCloud came out of came out of nowhere for us and somehow became the thing that we compare all the other ones to. They did well. Google simply didn't have a name in the space, right? It's and they tried to come into the industry in a new niche part of it. You know what I mean? And it didn't work for them.
yeah. So I mean, the thing is, so can you do anything with the controllers if you're not using them with Stadia? Can you turn them into Bluetooth controller for something else?
A great question. So, there has been a lot of talk about that. There is, from what I understand, there was already an unlock available for it, and I believe in the original shutdown announcement, they said that there was going to be firmware coming that would fully unlock the device to be used for anything.
So you get it. So you get your money back, and you get free controllers that you could use with
Absolutely.
another system.
Yeah.
That's
And
not such a bad.
true. And even if Google isn't the one that does it, somebody will do it. There's too many of these things out there for somebody to not go, I'm on it.
I mean,
Because
could
I
you
mean,
use it?
worst case scenario, you can hardwire it and go. I think now.
But who wants to do that? I mean, it. I mean, they. I mean, like we set up a RetroPie system this week. The other
Hmm.
day, my son and I, and like, yeah, you want a wireless. You want to sit on the couch, use a wireless system. So like,
Right.
there's lots of. I mean, you can use a Bluetooth controller with. I don't know. Maybe it will or won't work with Switch or whatever.
Hmm.
But the but if you're connecting to something like a Raspberry Pi or a PC,
Hmm.
those are pretty good about taking like almost any Bluetooth
Right.
device that you can send them.
Right.
Um, So you could make good use of this.
My
In
guess
fact,
is wired,
yeah,
it'll end up working great. Bluetooth, it'll end up working great. Obviously, the Wi-Fi control is very specific to the Stadia servers, which, by the way, was a fascinating addition and one that I hope that Microsoft is taking note of for xCloud. That was a fascinating addition that you could hook the controller direct to Wi-Fi and control, not be connected directly to the device that you're watching the game on, and still be able to play because it's all Wi-Fi commands anyway. It was a
right.
internet commands. It was a brilliant addition. Honestly, I hope Microsoft's listening.
So, but anyway, like they wouldn't be the first to abandon, hardware. So
Oh.
the fact that anybody is getting any of their money back is pretty good. And you
Yeah.
consider it this way, like let's say you were playing with it for 3 years. So I mean, if you got it early, early in the life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you got 3 years worth of playing with it,
Right.
and then you'll still have some and now you get all that money back.
Right.
So whatever experiences that you had for the last 3 years, you got free.
Right.
Like
Now, it's important to note that is mostly right. If you were paying for the Stadia Pro subscription, that's it. You're not getting anything back. Your hardware purchases you're getting back, but your subscription price you're not, because you did get that experience for the month
yeah, I
that you
mean,
paid for.
that's
So
fair.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
fair.
So subscriptions, you paid for it, you used it, it's gone. But game purchases and in-game purchases will be returned. So
Yeah. So I mean, not, you know, I mean that what it really says is that, you know what, Google, I know you watch a show, I know you listen to our show. Buy
that
buy
I
buy
said
other
something.
people's businesses.
I said something nice about Google one time on the show years ago when I was really, really extra hard on them, and they ended up sending me a shirt from the event that I was nice about. So they absolutely, absolutely do listen to the show.
I'm sure the Google God is listening. Listen, since obviously they should always take my advice. My advice to them would be to buy more of other people's businesses and start fewer of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Because like YouTube, they bought it from somebody, doing really well. Android,
Android.
they bought it from somebody, doing really well. Stadia, created it themselves, not doing, fail.
Yeah.
Google Plus started it themselves, fail. Now,
Are you
I have a
recommending
strong prediction.
Are you recommending that Google should buy Twitter?
Yes, I am recommending that Google should buy Twitter because they will almost certainly be able to get it at a great discount.
One of your colleagues at another publication, one of the sister publications, recommended that Microsoft should buy it.
My prediction is that Elon Musk will not hold on to it for forever, and maybe not for more than a year at most. And
I think between 12 and 24.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
And if there is anything of value left when he's done with it, that it would be a good idea for a company like Microsoft or Google that has had trouble penetrating the social media sphere on its own, and they will get it at a great discount, like because it is if you think it was a troubled asset before, just wait. Just you wait. So I mean, so if they just, like, for somebody like a Google or a Microsoft, just getting the user base would be worth it. But for what I don't know, Musk was wanted to pay for it, and what Twitter as a public company, I guess, wanted to take for it was probably not worth it for them. But he will
After
be
all
trying
the
to unload it.
air is let out of that balloon, it's
Yes, yes, he will be trying to unload it, and it will be. I mean, he will be trying to unload it. The question is how bad it will be at the
right.
time. But
What's going to be left?
anyway, what's going to be left? But like Google, if Google wants to like get into a business like this, they should look for a company that's already doing it,
Hmm.
and do this through acquisition,
And not
because it
on
seems
live.
like when they yeah, well, I mean, so I'm not sure whom they could acquire. Like, I don't think that they want to be in the space anymore. They got out, and I don't know that it was a good space for Google, because
I
Google
agree.
does not have gaming, whatever you want to call it, gamer DNA. It doesn't
Right.
really have any, like,
And you
doesn't
know,
really have any experience in that play in that sphere.
Microsoft was people were surprised when Microsoft created the Xbox, right? 25 years ago now.
Hmm.
People were surprised. And I always said, you shouldn't be, because Windows is the place people play games. So Microsoft already had an established presence in the gaming space, right? So it wasn't that big of a surprise. Yes, getting into hardware for them was a bit of a surprise, but Xbox was a natural transition of gaming on Windows. The Stadia was not a natural transition from gaming on Android. It just wasn't the same thing. They didn't Google didn't have their own history of games, right? There was no Age of Empires, there was no Microsoft
Right.
Flight Sim. There was none of that already in Google's DNA. So it was a strange place. They might be able to acquire something like my absolute favorite name because it's so weird. It's called Black Nut, which is a great game streaming platform. That has some presence. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the wrong space for them. But yeah, uh, they obviously social is something that's in their corporate DNA. Just they didn't know how to make Google Plus work. Twitter would work for them because you and I liked Google Plus, right? It was a
Yeah,
concept.
I thought it was perfectly good. They
Yeah,
just didn't do what they needed to do, I guess, to they didn't want to stick with it. So I mean, what one of the things that the Stadia thing says is Google is too quick to drop stuff.
yeah,
Uh or I mean, they're very quick to drop stuff.
yeah.
And maybe if they stuck with it longer, I mean, and made some more effort, they could have gotten further.
Hmm.
But I mean, the other thing is that it was very similar in function to Facebook.
Yeah.
So, like, I liked it, and
Hmm.
given everything that's gone on Facebook since then, I would have been happy to put more of my time into Google Plus. I'm
Yeah.
really sorry that it's not around. I like
I
Google Plus.
I
So
enjoyed social,
yeah,
Microsoft's thing before they bought LinkedIn. I liked social. It was a really solid thing. And, if you wanted to interact with Microsoft employees, it was it was a great place to do it because they were the only ones on there other than me. But it was a really solid product that they just couldn't get people to interact with in a way that mattered, just like Google had with Google Plus.
yep. So anyway, uh, it does really harm their these sorts of things do harm their reputation, because it makes
Yeah.
people think like, what's the next Google thing that I might have to invest in? Do I want to invest in it? Because is Google
Right.
going to stick with it? Now,
Right.
again, if Google buys an established successful business, then or an established well, I don't know, successful, but an established business that seems to have been around for a while,
Right.
that would better signal that, like,
Yeah.
hey, we're likely to stay in this. I mean, they
Right.
haven't shut down YouTube.
Because they're
YouTube
not
has been a
HP.
success.
Right. They're not HP.
Right.
They're not in the business of buying and then destroying an acquisition. They're in the business of buying and then fostering, right? We just spent a lot of money on this. Let us help you continue down the path you're already on. We'll be an asset to you, not the other way around. And that's, those have been their biggest successes. Let us be an asset to you, not you're going to be an asset for us. Every time they say you're an asset for us, things go sideways. And that's that HP's model, right? Of buying and then destroying an asset for many, many years.
Yeah, I don't totally understand. Like, I really don't understand the HP acquisition model, because it's like they buy stuff and then they just kind of subsume it into HP, and the question is whether they've actually gotten any value out of what they bought, other than just putting it out of business. Like,
did they learn anything from the acquisition? No.
I'm still waiting to see whether HyperX, which was the last thing that they seem to have acquired, that, whether HyperX continues as a real concern. So far, it seems like yes, but we'll have to see.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think I knew. I don't think that was...
Oh, yeah, they acquired them like a year or two ago.
Okay.
HyperX.
That is... Yep. Absolutely. That was not in my memory buffer. I don't know what happened there. Maybe
HyperX was HyperX was Kingston, and now HyperX is HP.
Okay.
And so the question is,
2021.
Is it going to be like Voodoo, where they bought it
or Palm
for or Palm, or
that cloud platform that they bought, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, that, I guess that's where we are currently with Google on Stadia. My question is, I want to know what happens with the relationship with AT&T, right? With Arkham, that they made available under the AT&T brand, but was powered by Stadia. I haven't heard about the future of that one. I'm very curious about that, though. Well, AT&T doesn't own Warner Media anymore, so maybe all of that fell apart anyway. Okay, that's something I'm going to have to go research. Sorry, that was a diversion. That's something I'll research later and figure out. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.